Blessed Saturday evening. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. And I feel good today because I went to vote, and you guys, I go and vote. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the presidential election. If when it comes to voting, I remember receiving a report card, and I made 100 because I'm faithful into doing that. I don't care if it's about um, the people picking up garbage, and the time they pick it up, and or what taxes are going up or down, or the school system, money for schools. I try to make sure that I make the time to go vote. And I had a client. She was traveling from out of town, and she was running late, and I usually like to be on time. I like you know time is money too, and time is valuable. So I'm like, okay, I'm giving them notification. I'm waiting. I waited 15 minutes. It was almost an hour. I'm like, okay, I know she's traveling from out of town, but let her know that, okay, I've waited 55 minutes, and I hope everything is okay. I tried to reach out to you, so I'm about to close my business. And just reach back at me and let me know that you're doing okay. But that's because I wanted to be on time to go vote. And so I finally got a chance to vote, and I did. I'm from Houston, and I did vote for Mayor Sylvester Turner. So good luck, Mayor Sylvester Turner. Um, we had people to come in there, and they were so confused because this time they didn't have, a lot of people like to just vote straight up Democrats and Republicans and stuff like that. And that's why I always say, and they didn't have that for the runoff. So when they went there, they went to, I'm just going to vote straight up Republican or straight up Democrat. And I'm like, I told them, I'm like, just do your research. That's why you study and know who you're voting for, just in case situations like that. But anyway, anywho, because I'm long-winded. But I need you guys to wake up. I did this video, and a lot of people like drama, I see. But and this lady, she left a comment down. She's like, you right, but they're not listening. And we don't listen. And for this Caucasian guy to speak this, that I was talking about, like, what, how many videos ago? Like, what, I was talking about the Klansmen and everything else, and I was talking about the record labels and who people rather deal with, and we have no value to these people unless we're making them money. And then they use us to help kill us and bring us down. We are, like I said, we are our own enemies, and we just too stupid to understand that. When we learn to stop supporting certain things around here, we're going to see something totally different in our lives. Totally different. And, it's certain things, that just really irked my nerves to see women supporting their babies dancing like they strippers. And that did something to me. This little baby, she was on the wall and then had the nerve to put her hand back on a little damn pamper. I said she can't even go in there and piss. She can't even go use the restroom by herself, and she's twerking, and she's like she on a strip pole, and her mama cheering it on. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to do better, as women too. We can't blame the men for everything that goes on. But we, as people of color, we need to wake up. We need to work together. Fathers just need to be fathers. Mothers needs to be mothers. And I know it's hard to be at work because when I divorced my husband with 4 kids, I moved away because I couldn't, I lived in California, and I was in the country just to get to know my mother's side of the family, and I just couldn't deal with it. I'm like, I can't deal with this mess. It's nothing here. And so I chose to move to Houston because it was, I didn't want to keep my kids totally away from their family. And I didn't want to leave, my mom, because I had just started, she didn't raise us when we were little kids. So I wanted to be close to her. So I was like, okay, that's driving distance, whatever. So I'm like, I don't want to take the kids to California. The cost of living is crazy there. So I just I looked on the map, you guys, and I left on by faith. And then that's some of those problems with us as people of color. You know, the woman told me, because I was leasing from her for my business, and she told me I wasn't gonna make it with 4 kids when I moved. And it's just like she didn't encourage me. They didn't say, we wish you well, we know you'll do good and stuff like that. And she said, I make a bet that she'll be back in 6 months. And I looked at her, I'm like, sweetheart, you do not know me, because I'm not even from here, and I've been all over the world. So, you know, I'm not afraid to move on to have a better life for my kids and I. And I had to work 3 jobs. I worked 3 jobs because I was like, I will not fail. I will not fail. But at the same time, I was actually failing my kids, because I was trying to be that provider and give them what they need and wanted, but I wasn't there as a parent. So I had to make decisions to leave, you know, one job. Then I decided to leave the second job. You know, I'm like, my kids need me, you know, because they can't raise themselves. You know, I get there in time to make sure that they dress. I take them to school. And that wasn't me. I'm like, you know what, girl? Make sure that they are okay. You guys have what you need. You know, and so God provided a way for me to be able to have it all, you know, with working one job. So I'm grateful for that. But I talked about Sony, these record labels, and I just happened to, you know, run into this. And I said, this is a shame that this man is a different race and see what we fail to see. I'm always talking about it. It's like, just like with, I was upset with Snoop Dogg when he kept talking about snitching. I'm like, damn it, let's come up with some more rules. Let's come up with some rules about, you know, you have to, you know, finish school, and we have to try to make sure we get our kids a higher education. You know, what a snitch rule? We don't want to snitch on each other, and that's telling that person it's okay to kill somebody and take their lives and take one of us. We already at 13%, and we're already not producing kids like we used to. Because now, and I had that conversation with one of my clients, and she worked for the law firm, and we had a talk about that, you know, women producing babies, women of color. And she said her and the girls that was in her group from high school and in college, to this day, they don't have babies. They don't have any kids. And that's because they labeled us and made us look so bad, and we make our own selves look bad as well. They see you with kids. Oh, she got all these kids. She probably don't even have a husband. She probably got about 20 baby daddies. And she probably on welfare. And these business women with great careers didn't want to be frowned upon with babies. And that's sad. You know, so that's what I'm saying. We have to wake up and see stuff that people see already, other race, see that they see that what we too blind to see. Or we look over it and and see that it's like nothing. And it's trending. Just like I talked about the women of our culture, just to be seen in the music business, they feel like they have to be half naked to be noticed. And I always say, they're not noticing your talent. They don't even notice your voice. All they notice and hear and see is you twerking your ass, popping your titties in the beat of a song. But they don't hear you. They don't hear your talent. And then that's what I, put into that video about the Klansmen and stuff, and how they promote violent music with these boys running around here shooting and killing themselves because they want to take us off this earth. And they want us to do it. So nobody else won't look at them, but they doing it behind the scenes. And I told you guys, these people do stuff behind the scenes, and we're only We're only valuable to them if we're putting money in their pockets and making them rich. They don't give a damn about us. They don't. We're only valuable because we build and make them rich. Just like tennis. Like Venus and Serena, right? Well, if you pay attention to tennis, it wasn't on these networks, these mainstream networks. It wasn't on there like that. But when you had got these two black girls, and it was amazing how they came and dominated tennis. And they had to put it on the mainstream networks. You see what I'm saying? Just like Tiger Woods, like golf. How often did you see golf on mainstream? Tiger Woods came in and dominated because they love us as long as we are valuable to them. But we got to learn to be valuable to ourselves. And I know my videos is not full of drama all the time. And I know we like drama. But at the same time, we need to wake our asses up. For real. Let's take, as women of color, men of color, you don't have to be the smartest person in the world. We have Google. We have, free classes running around here. You can see where they have free classes. Even some churches teach you financing and stuff. Grow your kids up and teach them how to manage their money. And I started teaching my kids about credit. Now, you might have one that don't want to listen. But I was teaching my kids about credit and money from the time they was little. But they had to earn it. My little girl, I used to laugh at her, and she is so cheap. I'm telling you, she's 26 years old, and she's cheap as hell. She'll sit on her money, and she's not going to spend it. She'll spend your money before she spend hers because she cheap as hell. And my son, his credit is, A1 credit. And I even told him, I was like, I need you to co-sign for me to get this machine. Now, this machine is for my health. Like, it's only $10 a month. He was like, no, Mom, I'm not finna do that. I need my credit to stay right. And he don't even play with me. I'm his mama. I'm like, damn, you don't want me to stay alive. You worried about some credit. And you know I'm not going to mess up the credit. I done taught y'all ass out the credit, And my kids, you have parents use their kids' social security numbers and stuff because they done messed up their credit. Then when the kids grow up, they don't understand why they can't get this and they can't get that. We got to teach our kids that sometimes credit is more important than money. We have to also teach our kids background checks. Nowadays, to get jobs, you gotta have background checks and good credit. Your bank account, you can't have no check situations, fraudulent checks, and stuff like that, because these people don't want you in the business. You're gonna come in to sabotage and rob. I just saw a video with Hollywood. She was talking, showing about some guy that went in there and he was an employee and stole $80,000. See, that's what they do. Background checks. Sometimes we have our backs against the wall as we get desperate. But you know why? Because we teach our kids in this music and TV, like I said before, teach our kids that they have to have the name brand shoes and clothes and label brand this and that. And we teach them that. And I got my kids and it was time for us to go shopping, and I took my kids shopping, but I showed them how to shop. I gave them a certain amount of money. And you'll have one coming with items, and then they don't have enough because they're getting the high price stuff. And I said, shop off season, sweetheart. Y'all shop off season. If you shop off season, then when wintertime come, you got those outfits. And then you have people like, oh my God, where you get that from? Like, shop off season. Because you might get the stuff for a $70 shirt for $10. And I'm lucky enough to get them for $1.75. I used to shop at JCPenney's, and I used to get them jokers $5 for like a $60 shirt or $100 shirt. It was some shoes that I saw. It was like $200 some dollars. I'm like, damn, I'm not spending much for no shoes. I caught them off season. I got them shoes for $10. Okay. So that's what I'm saying, baby. You can ball on a budget, and that's what I try to teach my kids. You can ball on a budget, baby. You can ball on a budget, and you don't have to try to. A lot of times as people is a color feel like they feel important wearing a certain name, and they feel like they're important having a certain type of vehicle to drive and stuff like that. I know a bunch of white people. They bought their house. They only concentrating on that house first, making sure the taxes paid, and they probably sleeping on the air mattress, and they don't have any furniture in their house. You see their kids, they walking around with those Sperry's with no socks on. But our kids feel like we gotta pay $200 and $300 on some shoes, and we feel like we have to get those shoes for those kids so they can feel important. You can have your kids looking nice. Just ball on the budget. Like I said, my son, right today, my oldest son, he would go into Walmart, and I kid you not, that child would go into Walmart. He would go, I don't care, he probably get something out the hair supply store, and that child think he is the bum. He don't worry about stuff like that. And I would tell him he like Chris Tucker and them. He loves to make jokes and act fool. He keep us laughing. But it's like we have to learn important things for our youth. They are our future, you know this. And look at what we got going around here. And on my Facebook page, I love posting inspirational things. I tried to do it on here, but they wouldn't let me, child. They blocked it because it was Ellen. I had some stuff on Ellen, and it was some good stuff. And when I see stuff like that, I like to post it. And my son that's in college, he's always posting stuff about, when, kids of color getting big scholarships or graduating. I just had a client, she just graduated yesterday, and she received her highest degree in nursing, and I'm so proud of her. I am so proud of her. And my thing is, I want us to, let's just reach out and just try. Before I leave this earth, I have a lot I need to do, because when I leave this earth, I want my kids and I want people to be able to remember me for trying to do right and trying to make things better. Because I look at us and it's sad. Just like the kids at Walmart, they cursing, they don't have respect. And, I used to laugh at my mom and my grandparents and stuff when they used to talk about kids today. The kids ain't like how we used to be. And right now, I say the same thing. These kids have no respect. We used to walk down the road, say cuss words. We see elderly people, we shut our mouths. And we yes ma'am and no ma'am. And right today, I say yes ma'am and no ma'am. A lot of people say I don't say that because that's slavery. No, not to me. It's me showing respect to my elders. So, but I'm going to let y'all go ahead with this video. But let's learn from each other. We can talk about our downfalls and how we rose up. That's fine. Because sometimes we have life learning lessons. And we can learn from each other, and we can come up with solutions. Come up with solutions and problem solving. But go ahead and watch this video. Please leave a comment, and I put those big labels on there so y'all be like, oh, okay, that's why she put that there. So just listen to him, Mike, and drop a comment down. I want to make sure, I want to try to get to 1,000, you guys, subscribers. I try not to beg for subscribers so I can go live, because I want to bless someone with a gift. And I think I had talked about this in October, that I wanted to give away something. It can probably help with, a turkey or something, for you to do for the holidays. So go ahead and watch this, and like, share, and subscribe, especially this here, okay? And once again, free R. Kelly, free Bill Cosby, Cuban, leave Russell Simmons alone. Let's get things. Let's get the work, and let's build our foundation and make it stronger, you guys, as people of color.
We have black people that get on the radio every day in white-owned companies, white-owned stations with white-owned sponsors that play the role of hypersexualized, hypercriminalized male. I ask these advertisers, I say, I've got hundreds of songs a day that celebrate killing animals. Will you put them on your station? They said, no. I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about assaulting women and abusing kids. Would you put them on your station? They said, no. I said, I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about murdering blacks. Would you put them on your stations? They said, well, that depends. Depends on what? Who it's done by and who it's branded for. Because if we can get black folks to sing about it and we can brand it for our youngest black audiences, I think there's money to be made. I think there's American appetites to see these people that way. I said, how can you say that? They said, well, look, it's what these artists know. It's what they, black people, create. It's, matter of fact, our surveys say it's what they want to hear, which speaks of a sickness. How do we live in a society where somebody says, you know what, I'm inspired to write a song that celebrates murdering another person. And then a person says, I'd like to put that on my station. Another person said, I'd like to pay for it. And then there's people out here in the audience that go, I'd love to hear it, as long as it's black guys. Because even white people buy rap music, buy this type of stuff, because we know that when we want to hear about killing each other, we know who to turn to for that type of inspiration. We call it our music. We say we own it. White people buy more rap than black people. Yeah, but we're very careful to turn it down at the stoplight when other black people are there. Why? Because we know we're just pretending. For them, it's more authentic and real. I always ask the companies, what about your name? What about your brand? What about your value? And the largest radio company in the world said this: it's okay that we only have drug dealers on our black youth stations. We only have murders on our black youth stations. We support black charities. We give out water at the Martin Luther King parade. I think we've got it covered. We've bought them off. Now, people get upset, the smartest guys in the room again. You're talking about censorship. I don't believe that. I believe in free art. Make whatever you want. I believe you should make music about anti-Semitism. I believe you should make music about killing dogs. I believe in this country you should make music about bashing homosexuals and driving them behind trucks. I believe you should make music about stringing people up on trees. I believe you should make music about killing whitey. I believe you should make all that music. But I also believe that in the mainstream marketplace, people should hesitate associating their name with certain content. You know, there's certain stuff you can't buy at the store. Certain stuff you can't get on iTunes because their brand doesn't want it. But if you want to hear black people celebrating killing black people, they got thousands and thousands and thousands of those things to sell you. I don't think it's about censorship. I think it's about American cultural hypocrisy. Because here's the truth. These black entertainers, they can't sing just about anything. There's some stuff that'll get them fired. And they get dropped, and they get fired, and they get slapped on the wrist, and they get disciplined all the time. Why? Because sometimes they step over the bounds. A very famous case is what happened with Rick Ross. Rick Ross is the Mammy Two Shoes, one of the many Mammy Two Shoes of our day. He's a black entertainer in a world carved out for him, and a role carved out for him by white entertainment companies. And one day he talked about, in the middle of a song that celebrated dealing drugs and killing blacks, he made a reference to date rape. And when he made that reference to date rape, that set social media on fire. That got 100,000 petitions in 24 hours. Hey, buddy, date rape is no joke. That had white people standing outside of Reebok in New York saying, you better take this seriously. We're tired of a rape culture in America. One line in one song moved the masses. And you know what Reebok did? Did they stand by him and say, hey, we believe in freedom of speech. We believe in freedom of expression. It's just a song. Calm down. No, they fired his tail on the spot. The president came out and said, this goes against our high standards. He's gone against the values of our brand. Shame on Rick Ross. We're disappointed. He doesn't know how serious date rape is. And when I saw that, I thought, wow, how convenient. Isn't that amazing? But here's what really happened. It's not their brand, it's not their values. Rick Ross went off script. He was hired to get black customers, and they think that black customers go with black bait. And in America, black bait is the hyper-criminalized, hypersexualized portrayal of black people. And as long as he had sung about that, the stuff that got him hired, he still have a job at Reebok. But when he touched other sensitivities that affect us, he lost his job. See, the truth is, it's not they that need to change. It's we that need to change. We created the lies. We created them for our profit. We own the companies. We own the record labels. We own the advertisers, and we keep putting it out. And it's this that's got to change. I thought about it. You know what? I wonder if White Mike could get anybody's attention on this. So I stood outside of a Walmart, and I said, hey, I don't think killing cops and killing blacks is very cool. And you know what? It only took 7 weeks of Mike standing out there, and they wrote a letter and said, yeah, we don't think it's cool either. We're going to pull our name off of that. The largest retailer in the world had never considered that maybe their commercial shouldn't be right before or after a song about young black men being gunned down. And I realized this, that black murder is normal, but it should not be. And I realized the importance at the coffee table, at every headline, every pastor's gathering, every family gathering to say, you know what, these black lives matter. It's not just another black kid. These are human beings. I'm doing my best in every way, shape, and form. Talks like this everywhere I can go to say, you know what, I was born in a world where black murder was normal. My kids were born into a world where black murder is normal, but I don't want to die in a world where black murder is normal. Am I 5 years or 10 years away? I don't know, but I'm screaming as high as I can. Let's feel this pain and let's lift our voice to tell the lies. They are not criminals, they are not deviants, and their lives are just as important as ours. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in with Texas Black Diamond Entertainment, and you guys have a wonderful weekend. Wake up refreshed and happy. Thank you again, you guys.